Hey guys, welcome back. Today we'll be going over the deadlift. The deadlift is a great compound exercise that focuses on many muscles and joints, especially in the lower body. Muscles it targets are the glutes and hamstrings of the lower body and the erector spinae and lats of the upper posterior part. So the deadlift is great depending on the program you're using to increase muscle strength, power, or endurance. It's great for a lot of athletes and many people who are into Olympic lifting, powerlifting, and bodybuilding. So as we see, the deadlift is primarily a hinge hip exercise. So why may you use it? So most people who have lower back problems can benefit from this as it strengthens their lower back. A lot of people who have an occupation of lifting or bending over or squatting down to pick something up could also benefit from this type of exercise. So as we see, there are different types of stances to the deadlift. As you can see, this is a sumo stance, which is wider. Most people could lift heavier with this stance as there's less range of motion for the hip to go through. And the most common stance that most people take is the conventional, as we can see here, which is more of a hinge hip as it's more exaggerated. So some important cues is, since this is a hinge hip exercise, we want to minimize knee flexion. As we will see later on, a lot of people mistake this exercise and do it improper and squat down to get the bar. But as we see, we want to minimize knee flexion and hinge more at the hip to engage your glutes and hamstrings. We want our feet to be shoulder width apart and our hands slightly shoulder width apart. And this is the most common conventional stance that most people will take. It's important not to lean forward, have the bar track mid-foot, and we want to put all our weight mid-foot and to our heels. We don't want to be leaning forward and having our heels lift off the ground. We don't want our spine to be curved at any point. Our thoracic spine or our lumbar spine should not be curved or arched at all. We want to minimize spine compression to reduce our risk of injury. We don't want our shoulders to be rounded forward, and we always want to try to keep our neck in neutral position. We also don't want to squat down to get the bar, because this is primarily a hinge hip exercise and we want to focus on our hamstring and glutes. We do not want to be squatting. If you want to work on your quads, then you could do some squats. But for deadlifts, you do not want to bend and flex at the knees. You also don't want to lean back and thrusting on the bar. Especially when it comes to heavy weights, this could really put you at high risk for lumbar injury. So this is a great exercise to strengthen a lot of the muscles in the posterior chain. It's always important to remember to minimize knee flexion and to hinge at the hip. Keep the core tight and breathe out on the way up on exertion phase. That's it today, guys. Thanks for tuning in.